Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Review the Right Thing. What can I say? It's been a long time. Probably about 3 weeks now, unfortunately. And I've just been kind of doing nothing. I had a video, well, this basically same video recorded last week. I rambled on for about 51 minutes. At about the 15-minute mark, I thought I'd only been talking for about 5 minutes. So then that's when I actually started talking. And even then, it was just too much. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. I just need somebody to pinch me sometimes and say, Andrew, shut the fuck up. And so I actually wrote what I wanted to talk about, much like I was doing kind of at the beginning, so that I can kind of get my thoughts on paper, know what I want to say, not ramble on too much, because I'm a rambler. What can I say? But I always start off rambling, so I'm just going to be quick. I've just been basically watching videos on YouTube a lot. A lot of reviews, Dead End Hip Hop reviews, my C-Town solo reviews. Been watching a bunch of those. Watching my buddy's Merkins page explode. He just got like, I don't know, 1 million followers or something like that on YouTube. It's crazy. So the Slash Street Boys stuff is doing very well for him. So I've been just kind of watching a lot of that shit, and last week I basically had a lot of remodeling done on my bathroom. That needed some work, so kind of hard to like sit and focus on anything when there's a lot of, construction going on in your house. So I basically just was on my phone watching YouTube reviews and kind of fucking around and working my second job, so I've been kind of busy. Need to support my buying habits. I want to try to pay off my credit cards. Adult stuff, but there's just always stuff coming out. Music-wise, toy-wise, movie-wise, all kinds of stuff. There's so much I want to review, and it's just, I wish I had more time. It's crazy. I've bought some Blu-rays recently. I've gotten some records recently, so I will be doing another collection update. Picked up a couple toys that I wanted to do some reviews on. So there's just a lot. But this one I really wanted to talk about since, the last couple months. And I've even added some more recent releases on here, but I feel like there's been some really awesome rap EPs that have been released this year. And in my exploration of YouTube reviews, I've just not really seen a whole lot of people talk about these albums. And I think they're worth mentioning. So it's stuff that I haven't delved into a ton. I've listened to probably each project at least once or twice. Some, maybe even the 3-4 time mark. But I know right off the bat that they've hit, and I think they deserve being mentioned. But it's just another thing, like I said, there's just so much of everything this year. I mean, music even alone has been huge. And I've just been on a really big, hip-hop kick this year for the most part. Obviously checking out, the different metal releases that have been coming out that I'm really pulled to, artists that I've been following for years that are releasing stuff. So I am paying attention to everything. But my main focus has really been just hip hop. It's been really a fucked up year. And so I wanted to listen to music that kind of, what am I trying to say? See, this is what I do. I ramble on. But connected with me, I guess. And not connected in the sense of I understand what a lot of the hip-hop community goes through, because obviously I don't know what it's like to be a black male or a black female. Just, I don't know what it's like to be a minority person in general. I'm a privileged white person. But I've seen my fair share of shit. I'm not a stranger to a lot of the things that they have experienced. Obviously not to the same magnitude, but, and it's just been a very social and political year. And like I said, I've just wanted my music that I've been listening to reflect that feeling. So I've been discovering female hip hop artists just because, with NPR's Tiny Desk concerts, I've been watching a lot of those as well. I recently discovered Megan Thee Stallion. I knew who she was for a long time. Same with Cardi B, but I've never really given women a whole lot of a chance. And so here I am, doing so. And I'm not sure why I never really did before. I just had this kind of stereotype, I guess, just that it would be that kind of dancey pop mainstream rap, and yeah, a lot of it is, and just that doesn't always appeal to me, but I find myself really enjoying some of that stuff now, and definitely kind of opening myself up a little bit more to more rap as a whole, just because it's a great art form, and for artistic value, I want to expose myself to it and appreciate it even if I don't like it. Even if it's not something I'm going to revisit later on, I want to know it exists, and I want to know why I don't like it, and if there is something that I do enjoy about it, because I try to usually look at the glass half full, so I try to enjoy even something that I wouldn't typically like. I may not revisit it later on, but anyways. So, let's get into this, because I've been rambling on, and this is, like I said, what I do. So, anyways, if you're new to my channel, I typically do ramble on pretty much, or too much, sorry. See, I do that too. But yeah, so I basically talk about Blu-ray reviews, toy reviews, music reviews. If you like those kind of things, check out my old videos. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. So anyways, Rap EPs. These are basically just ones I've really enjoyed so far for the year. Obviously, we've still got a few months left until the year wraps up, so there will probably be some other releases that I will really enjoy, but these ones have just stuck out to me a lot this year. So, first one being CHIKA, Industry Games, another girl that I just kind of stumbled upon through the NPR Tiny Desk YouTube videos. And, man, she is fucking kick-ass. Great flow, great lyricist, awesome kind of soulful production to it. I just really enjoy it, and when I was kind of watching those NPR videos and kind of getting into a lot more female rappers, I was obviously trying to look for something that was a little bit more classic sounding, because that's the kind of rap that I typically enjoy more. You know, I am getting into a little bit of everything, is in terms of rap, but I definitely find myself, you know, going towards more of the boom bap, classic jazz, soul inspired hip hop. I love that stuff. When I was discovering rap in the early 2000s, well, not discovering, because obviously there was other things I listened to classic wise, but when I was really getting into rap in the early 2000s, I was listening to Ruckus Records, a lot of Stone's Throw, a lot of Rhymesayers stuff. So that was the kind of stuff that really got me into hip hop. And so 1 second, because I am getting parched. Her sound really like appeals to what I like in hip hop. So really enjoy this project as a whole. It's great. One thing I can say, it's a little bit too short, but that's a lot of these. I mean, they're EPs. They're not full-length projects, and most of them I would like to hear a little bit more from them. But you know, some of these artists did put out projects last year. Whatever. So, anyways, I'm rambling still. But CHIKA, awesome production in this project. She's a great rapper, great bars. Industry Games is like probably one of my favorite tracks of 2020. It is like the first track on the album after the intro, and it is a banger. It is so fucking awesome. I love it. But like my only critique then would be on the album would be, I wish that song maybe came later, because it is such a hard-hitting track, and the rest of the album doesn't hit the same. It's definitely more of the tender kind of soul, jazz kind of tinged hip-hop, and a lot more tender rapping and flow that she showcases, along with, you know, maybe some singing, some harmonies in the background. So, you know, I just wish this song maybe came later, because it is such a fucking awesome banger, and like I said, probably one of my favorite tracks of 2020, and it just kind of, the rest of the album doesn't hit the same notes, and not that it's bad, because I love it, go check it out, but it just, that song hits so hard, and then the rest of the album is just kind of real soft and kind of mellow, soulful, and it's just like, I would like to see the rest of the project kind of be like that. That would have been awesome. And so, you know, kind of referencing what the Dead End Hip Hop guys were talking about in one of their videos, they had another guy from another channel coordinate a video together, and so they were talking about whether they want their rappers to fizzle out or just kind of drop the mic and retire before they get bad. And I'm all for an artist fizzling out because, you know, as Lupe Fiasco even said on one of their things too, because there was kind of some weird beef, he had said that this music isn't for you. And I understand that, like the writers write the music because it's what comes from the heart. And that's what I want to appreciate about it, and that's what I usually do appreciate about it, even if I don't necessarily like what ends up happening on the album. You know, if I don't like the album, I can still appreciate that this is coming from their soul. You know, and then at times it's just, you know, they're going through something that makes them write bad music, and, you know, how many albums you're going to give them before you kind of give up type of thing. But in this, you know, in this instance, this is what I want to kind of shift into with CHIKA was I'm eager to see what she puts out. This is her first EP. She does have, I think, another track or two out that, again, I haven't given a whole lot of time because of the, you know, wealth of music this year. And so I'll have to go back to that, but I'm definitely eager to hear what else she's got coming out. So next thing would be another thing that I also stumbled upon just through the NPR podcast, or, well, not podcast, I don't want to keep wanting to say podcast, but the NPR Tiny Desk concert videos is Flatbush Zombies. And on their Tiny Desk, they open up with this one song called When I'm Gone, pretty sure? God, I wish I would have looked that up before because now I'm second guessing myself. Pretty sure that's what it's called. So I knew as soon as that video opened up, I was like, holy shit, I've never heard the song. I love Flatbush Zombies. What is this track from? I have to hear it. So discovered that they had a new EP this year, and man, again, like Flatbush Zombies, it is exactly what you want to hear from them in 2020, and it's so good. And that song in particular just really hits pulls on a lot of heartstrings. I actually was tearing up a little bit during the live, you know, stream thing, during the live Tiny Desk concert. Not live, but the, you know, recorded live Tiny Desk concert. So, but my point being is that song is just so well written, and some of those lyrics just really punch you in the gut. And like I said, I actually teared up a little bit, and it's just so good. The rest of the EP is just as great. Highly recommend that as well. Still, you know, basically what you would expect, like I said, from Flatbush Zombies. Production-wise, I would say it's a little bit more on the soulful side overall. This project obviously very much having a theme with kind of how 2020's been this year. But yeah, solid. Highly recommend it. I just haven't seen a whole lot of people talking about it. Another artist this year that came out of the project is somebody who I really don't know a whole lot about. I really should kind of dive more into their past catalog. I have one album that I really enjoy from them from 2012, but that is Skyzoo. And his project with Dumbo Station, Bluest Note, is a pun for the label Blue Note, obviously, for those who are not familiar. Artwork and everything on the cover, very much to the T, feels like classic Blue Note. And that's all on purpose because the production on this album is basically all jazz-inspired hip-hop beats. It's great. Dumbo Station really does some awesome production on here. I love all the beats. To me, it sounds like that Madlib Shades of Blue comp that he put out several years back where he kind of nodded to the jazz-inspired hip-hop beats that he was producing. Or, I guess, other people were producing probably as well. But anyways, just to that, he was that jazz inspiration. These were his beats that he showcased for his love for jazz. And so these are really no different. Awesome production. I love it. Skyzoo given some great bars, has some awesome flow, and it really mixes well together. Skyzoo always pretty much raps over this kind of production, and I think that it's just a really good a good mesh, sorry. So they really go well together. He always sounds great over these kind of beats, and this project is really no different. As of this video, he had actually just released something else last week, so a second EP this year, which is another thing I kind of wanted to talk about with this video is that wealth of music this year. And so many artists are basically, you know, maybe they are only doing small projects, but they're putting out so much material this year. You know, 2020 has just been wild. I find myself liking things that I never also would have thought I would like before. You know, People I didn't give enough time, like Royce da 5'9", who I'm listening to a ton of his stuff, to Big Sean, who I really never got into because I thought he was a little bit corny, and I think Detroit too is pretty amazing. So there's just been so much, you know, and not even just in terms of the rappers, but Dead End Hip Hop even mentioned this. I think it was FIFO actually said it in one of the reviews earlier in the year for their, I think, top 5 of the year, basically for the first 6 months, was, you know, fuck the rappers. The producers are doing some crazy shit this year too. I mean, like, Alchemist has produced like 4 albums this year. DJ Premier has basically produced a track on almost everyone's project. It's crazy, just, and so that's what's hard to keep up with. And on top of everything else I enjoy, it's just, like I said, like I did earlier, there is just so much, and it's just, if I wanted to keep track of everything and really enjoy everything and do reviews on everything, I would need more hours in the day. That'll just never happen. So in the meantime, I just juggle it the way I can. But yeah, I mean, the producers are putting out tons of shit. Rappers are putting out tons of shit. It's crazy. So the second Skyzoo project from this year, Milestones, I've also listened to a little bit as well. Pretty much very similar production-wise to the Dumbo Station stuff. So just as good, but not throwing it in this review really because I haven't given it the same time that I've given the Bluest note. So anyways, next up. So Mick Jenkins with the Circus, another rapper who I really didn't know a whole lot about until this year. Buddy of mine who I do Kung Fu with twice a week. I'm usually better about checking out new artists and asking him if he has checked out certain people and yada yada yada, but he did, you know, kind of mention somebody to me. We do watch music videos a lot of times when he comes over and we're just hanging out. So Mick Jenkins was somebody he kind of exposed me to and checked out this project, and I really fucking love it too. Again, somebody that's not really been talked about. He's a Chicago MC. Very similar vibe to, I would say, somebody like Saba. Maybe even like some JID, Earth Gang, like that kind of thing. I know he has no affiliation with those guys. I do believe he has some affiliation with Saba because I think he's in a group with him, Pivot Gang, I'm pretty sure. I've listened to some Pivot Gang. In, you know, not a ton, but pretty good detail because there's a ton of people in that project, which I didn't know. And I'm pretty sure he's one of the guys in it, so I'm going to have to double check. But anyways, it definitely has that kind of vibe to it. So if you really like the kind of laid back flow, kind of soulful vibe to it, definitely more classic inspired production. But when he does rap, it's awesome. So if you like that kind of style, I definitely recommend this project. It's really good. Like I said, again, the production's awesome on it. And he, you know, does go back and forth between, you know, some of the more soulful kind of inspired rapping to then he does shift to more of a hard-hitting dropping bars style, which is pretty awesome. I really like this project a lot, like I said, and so worth checking out for those who haven't listened to that. And again, going back to the producers going just back to the producers from this year, doing a ton of shit. Like I said out earlier, Alchemist has done like 4 albums this year. LULU being one of them, and the first project that I've heard from anybody from the Griselda crew, and basically just was my gateway into their group. And from there, basically checked out everybody's projects. And again, they're people that are putting out so much this year. I think everybody in the group has put out minimum 2 projects, if not more, which is crazy. And I've seen this in other people's reviews, maybe the one critique, the guy that Mike Seatown actually recommended in one of his videos. I went and, you know, now kind of following him, watching some of his reviews. But he had said something about just that whole sound that everybody has being very similar across the board and not really having too much difference between each artist. But I like that. That is definitely my style as well. Like I said before, I kind of like more of the classic style of rap. Early 90s and stuff like that was, you know, the heyday for rap. And I was obviously not old enough to appreciate that kind of stuff. I would have been a baby. But, you know, I later dove into that kind of stuff, and it's awesome. And not to just jump on any kind of bandwagon either, to say, like, that's, like, the best era of rap, because I wouldn't, but I gravitate more towards that era. I like that sound a lot, but I think that every era has a ton of great stuff to offer if you know where to look and which artists to follow. But that's just all a matter of opinion and taste as well. So, but like I said, I just kind of gravitate more towards that style. I like that classic grittier sound. And so the Griselda crew is just awesome, and I like everything they put out. So this project being no different. I love Alchemist's production in this. He's a great producer overall in general. I like everything he's ever put out. And so, like, again, this is no different. And then we got Conway, you know, dropping bars over it. And I think out of all the guys, he's probably my favorite. Benny hasn't put out as much as everybody else, so he's one that I definitely love on features. So I'll have to definitely listen to more, but Conway kind of sticks out to me a little bit more than everybody else, even though I really appreciate everybody else. So I just, you know, this project's amazing. So if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. If you like stuff like classic Wu-Tang, this is definitely up your alley, so listen to it. Don't be an idiot. And last project for the year before we wrap this up will be the Lupe, Fiasco, Kaelin, Ellis project titled House. This is another conversation that they had on Dead End Hip Hop, man. I'm sorry, I'm just talking about them so much. I'm promoting the shit out of their channel right now. But not that anybody will see it because I have all of about 5 viewers. So, you know, I'm happy to talk to those few people, those dedicated followers. I'm glad, and I'm hoping that you are equally as happy to just listen to me on the other side. So anyways, they had kind of a conversation about Lupe and, you know, whether him or Kendrick were better lyricists and rapper, yada, yada, yada. And Lupe is definitely one of those people for me where I agree with a lot of them. He's just not always the best songwriter. He is an amazing lyricist, and I think he's a really great MC. Sometimes it just doesn't go hand in hand or necessarily mesh and work together. He's definitely got projects that I'm not as cool with. Not that I don't appreciate them, but they just don't sit as well with me. I don't revisit them. But then he obviously has projects that I fucking love. So he kind of falls into that that every other thing for me, where I like every other album almost. I think obviously Food and Liquor is amazing. The Cool's amazing. I even like Food and Liquor Part 2, but then I wasn't as cool with Lasers, which I know is before. So that's like, two good ones. One that I wasn't as good with. Food and Liquor 2, which I think a lot of people didn't like, but I also enjoyed. Tattoo in the Youth, which I thought was awesome. I haven't listened to... There's another project that he did that I really haven't given as much of attention to either, just, again, because of the wealth of music out there, and I have so much that I enjoy, and I just don't ever have enough time to check it all out. I'm always bouncing back and forth, music ADD, just bam, 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 bam. So anyways, but I really enjoyed this project. Kaelin Ellis put out something earlier this year that I checked out. He's a really great producer as well. Definitely more of that kind of jazz, soul-inspired hip-hop production that I love. Again, I gravitate more towards that, and it definitely pulls on me. I get it. Because I love jazz, though, too. And I love classic 70s soul. So that stuff just, when you can mix all that together with a great beat, it just, man, it's like the angels have come down. Anyways, so this, again, has some great production, like I said. The lyrics kind of go from anything between, like, dinosaurs to, to social statuses, and everything in between. So again, kind of like with what they were talking about and that, how he can be a great lyricist, but not necessarily always the greatest songwriter. Regardless of how you feel about the lyrics on this album, this project really hits for me. His rapping goes really well with this production, so it sounds great. And he's rapping awesome on this. He's like really fucking going on some of these songs. Sometimes the lyrics are a little bit all over the place. Dinosaurs, I'm not really sure how I feel about that song as a song, but I can definitely say, man, he is spitting some bars about dinosaurs, and there is some really cool, like, correlation between, I guess, you know, humans maybe in a way in there. So it's pretty awesome song. It's very interesting for the project. And I enjoyed this whole thing. I thought it was cool. This is maybe one that I don't know if I would listen to another 5 songs. I might. I probably would. It'd be cool maybe to just, you know, have some other instrumentals on here from Kaelin and Ellis. I'd listen to that as well. But anyways, nevertheless, it's a project that I think should be talked about this year. And I haven't heard a lot of people bring it up. And maybe that's because they didn't like it. But regardless, bring it up. Talk about it. You know, that's the fun about music is, you know, even though I like to make that joke that everybody has, or opinions are like assholes and everybody has one. Old joke. A million people have probably heard it. But it's, you know, a tried and true old-time statement type thing. And everybody does have an opinion, and everybody thinks their opinion's right. But regardless, it makes for fun debate. And so even if you didn't like this project, talk about it. Why not? Why didn't you like this project? You know, that's what makes music fun, is it's... God, I've used this word a million times in my other videos, and now I can't think. I mean, it's different person to person. Yeah, I can't think of the word I was trying to use, but whatever, you know. So everybody has something that they appreciate differently about different artists and different music. And so that's what makes the debate fun, and sometimes you can get people to change their opinion on stuff. You know, maybe somebody will grow to appreciate something more down the line. And so it makes it fun. And so anyways, that's what I'd like to do in this too. Eventually it would be great to have a nice little community where, you know, maybe everybody has different interests and we all kind of just talk about random shit and releases and life and whatever. So if you like what you see, click subscribe. There's a little bell down there. It'll notify you whenever I put up new content. If you subscribe, obviously, you know, I think YouTube will notify you a little bit. I've subscribed to a lot of people. I've done the bell notification for a lot of people. I can't really tell because I always have notifications that I don't look at until they're like huge. I feel like I'm a person's on my phone all the time, but I'm not always on social media. In fact, hardly ever. So again, you can follow me on my Instagram. I do tend to post some things, different updates on my collection, but I haven't been posting anything lately. So again, it's one of those things where, you know, sometimes I'm really kind of not into social media, but I promote myself more, I guess, and, you know, I'm trying to start conversation, post stuff on my Instagram, you know, my collection, so people can be like, hey, that's so cool, and I can be like, yeah, it's awesome, and, you know, maybe some little conversational, you know, spat out of that. Did you check this out? No, did you check this out? You know, it'd be fun. So, anyways, like I said, if you guys like this channel, this is what I do, ramble and talk about music, toys, Blu-rays. My Blu-ray reviews are, you know, a little bit more catered towards the actual release, so those tend to be a little bit less rambling. But when I talk about music, obviously, there's a little bit more going on, I guess, because of the topic and the way I handle the review. So anyways, look forward to doing more reviews, and I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing more. This has been Andrew Wright with another Review the Right Thing. Thanks again. Subscribe. Peace. I love you guys.